Okay, there's everybody. Appreciate you watching the video. I hope you're having a good evening this evening. My name is Kent, the channel is EOS San Diego. And the first thing I want to cover is the release of the challenge application. The final release, the third edition of the challenge application that we're waiting for approval on the Google Play and Apple App Store. And it's interesting to me that we're waiting for these centralized systems to say yes, these siloed centralized databases to say yes, but we didn't need approval to run it on the blockchain. So blockchain is pretty much open source. We could put the software up on a blockchain and run it, or put the application on the blockchain and run it without anybody's permission, but we have to get the permission of Google and of course Apple to run it on the App Store and the Google Play Store, because we need an interface for people to actually use the application. So that's interesting to me. The blockchain doesn't need the approval, but of course the Apple and Google do, and that's what we're waiting on right now. So as soon as we get those final approvals, and I think we're very close, we should be able to launch the third edition. People can go to Google or Apple and download the app, do the app. You get 20 tokens, 20 challenge tokens just for doing that. I think it takes like 20 seconds. And then hopefully we can get some other people we know to talk about it on YouTube and Instagram and some other places, as everybody knows is probably listening to my channel, and we can start to get some users, some onboard users. And of course, that's what this is all about. This is about users. Somebody was asking me about exchanges. Well, before you get exchanges involved, you got to have users. Users is what's going to drive this whole blockchain, and of course, every application is going to be driven by the number of users that use the application. As with any software, the more it gets used, the more valuable, and of course the more it gets traded in the exchanges. So that's what we're hoping for, and that's what we're looking for. So we're very, very close to this. And of course, I was looking tonight on Ethereum. Of course, Ethereum blockchain's been around a lot longer than EOS, and of course Ethereum's it doesn't have a lot of users for each one of their applications. Of course, we know that they have they're not as scalable as EOS, but what's really missing with the EOS blockchain, the Ethereum blockchain, is application users and applications, unique applications that are designed for the blockchain. That's something that's, and as I've talked about before, is not that easy to think of or come up with. I mean, you can run the EOS software, create another chain, come up with another set of block producers. That's much easier to do, to me, than to create an application or a dApp that gets a lot of usage. That's probably a more difficult thing to do. And I think more people will run the EOS software. More individuals, more companies will use it, and use it for their own purposes, and use it in the way they want to do it. They won't, they'll take the EOS software and run it in their own way. And I think that's going to happen a lot more. There was a thought that when EOS started, and I remember I had, I think one of the block producers on at that time, they were telling me that, or they were saying that there's a possibility that a number of mainnet chains could launch. The software was open source, and of course a lot of people could run it. In a set of block producers that were running it would have to authenticate it. And I think there was 15% consensus before it actually launched, that they thought maybe a number of chains would launch at that time, and there wasn't that happened. Of course, the only one that really launched was the EOS software, with the block producers that had already been testing it on the Jungle testnet, and of course they're the ones that launched it, and that's the way it's been going ever since. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more people run the EOS software, and a lot of people that are going to use this in a tailored way, and maybe do it in a way that is easier, maybe do it in a way that fits their needs a little bit better. And of course, when I think the EOS software could run a lot of stuff, especially with a lot of people worried about privacy. If you run your own chain, you could take care of that. And of course, I was listening a little bit to somebody here tonight, and they were talking about how flexible it is, and how you could do so many different things with it, and how they're trying to make it easier to run for individual corporations. So that enhances the value of EOS itself, mainnet and Block One, and being the developers of the software, updating the software. This makes it all more valuable. The fact that you have this open source blockchain technology out there that's available for anybody in the world to use. And of course, there's a lot of companies, I think, that are interested in using blockchain technology because they've been given enough information about it, how it could help their supply side chain, a lot of them, how they can make transactions more visible on the internet or through the blockchain, how they can make things more streamlined for their businesses, how to make things a lot easier. I think that's something a lot of companies would be interested in doing. The other thing too is I noticed last night, and I tried to find the clip, somebody was talking on CNBC, one of the analysts was talking, and they were talking about the trade wars. They were talking about how I think Trump has been saying that businesses, U.S. businesses, should stop doing business with China because of the trade imbalances, and how he was saying that the businesses are looking for alternative solutions to trade without going through traditional ways of trading back and forth. So, and when he said that, and I wish I could find the clip, I thought right away of blockchain. How, yeah, companies now that they're being told not to trade with a certain trade partner, are looking for alternative ways to trade or alternative ways to do business without going through centralized systems or going through the ways they've normally been going through, because of course there's tariffs and a lot of penalties for doing that. So get some way that you can do this without any penalties and any tariffs. And it's really kind of funny when I think about it, because when Trump says don't do business with China, basically who he's talking about is Amazon and Walmart. And I don't think Amazon and Walmart are probably going to take the advice of the president, especially when it comes to their business model. It also is something probably not thought of very highly in a society that is supposed to be independent and free of government intervention and government influence. So for Trump to say don't do business with China is pretty interesting. And I think companies will be looking for alternative ways to do business with other countries without going through the tariff system or the trade system or whatever it is that's going on, the tax system, let's just call it taxes, because that's what it is. It's not a tariff, it's just a tax. And escape all those burdens and things. So anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. He almost described blockchain, but he didn't quite know, I think, the concept of blockchain, but I think he was very close to giving the idea there. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.